Local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City, proud sponsor of this effort to promote reading, education, and literacy in our community.
The 50th anniversary of Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man will be the topic on Read About It tonight. Hi, I'm BJ Williams. With me is Donna Morris and Denuvetta Davis. Susie Beasley will be talking with Ruby Soutier. Kids Corner will feature Heidi Johnson. We also have Doug Benton, Brian Hearn, and Kathy Keating. Coming up, Donna Morris and Denuvetta Davis.
The following public service program is brought to you by the Metropolitan Library System. And now, Read About It, with your host, BJ Williams.
With us today is Donna Morris, who is the Acting Executive Director of the Metropolitan Library System, and Denuvetta Davis, who is Director of Branch Services, also for the Metropolitan Library System. And they're here to tell us about the celebration that has been going on this last year, and it involves a native Oklahoman, doesn't it? And Donna, what's going on?
We've just had the most exciting year celebrating the 50th anniversary of the publication of Invisible Man. We've had a variety of activities system-wide at all of our libraries, as well as some special events that have taken place at the Ralph Ellison Library, not only in Oklahoma City, but also it's become so well known throughout the state that we've had a lot of requests for people across the state to participate in this project. It's been very exciting.
Well, one of the things we started doing last year, wasn't it, Denuvetta, involved high school students in the area?
Yes, and we're very excited about that. What we have been able to do through a grant from the Oklahoma Community Foundation is provide books of copies of Invisible Man to juniors in various high schools around the country. And to date, we probably distributed about 3,000, maybe over 3,000 books.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Yes, one of the schools, we donated over 300, and the students read it over the summer. And they're involved now and just about to complete an artisan residency program where they're actually talking about the book, discussing it, just having some hands-on experience with an individual from the Arts Council, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yes.
That's one of the things I think that librarians really enjoy doing is that we actually get books into kids' hands, and they enjoy the books and get excited about them.
Exactly.
But that's not the only thing we've been doing to celebrate the 50th anniversary.
Oh no, we have posters that have been done, with brochures, we've done pamphlets, we're doing an interactive CD. We've had various programs. We viewed the documentary, which was done by PBS earlier in the year. John Callahan, who's the literary executor of Mr. Ellison's works, he was in Oklahoma City at the Ellison Library in April and did a wonderful job. We're having the literary landmark through Folio, which is Friends of the Library, Oklahoma and the USA. The Ralph Ellison Library has been named as a literary landmark representing Ralph Ellison, and that's has taken place on October 2nd, and it was a wonderful event, and we're just very proud of that, and anyone who's interested can always visit the Ralph Ellison Library to see the plaque and literary map, which has been prepared, and just it's very exciting.
Well, now also at the Ralph Ellison Library, which was actually there when the library was opened, is a beautiful sculpture of Ralph Ellison that was done by Ed Wilson. That was part of the naming the library after Mr. Ellison.
Yes,
and
the library was built in 1975. And it's just hard to believe that it's, over 25 years old now.
We don't need to go into that. Some of us were there when it was open. So we don't. Now, my understanding is that was actually a field where he hunted rabbits as a child.
Yes, and picked persimmons as well. Yes.
You can't find any persimmons there now, but it is a place that he frequented as a child.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And he always, I remember when he was here, he talked about how important libraries were to him and how the worlds that they opened up for him. So.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we're so excited and proud that it's been named a literary landmark. It's only the second literary landmark I think that Oklahoma has had, and it's truly fitting that it's in honor of Mr. Ellison and there at the library where he played as a child. I think it's just really neat.
Yeah, well, we're particularly proud to have it in a library. I mean, as you said, that is the really neat part about it.
He was a lover of libraries. Began with the Dunbar Library, which preceded the Ellison Library, and started there and read all the books there. And so it's just befitting that the library is the literary landmark representing Ralph Ellison.
But now you don't have to read every book in the Ralph Ellison Library the way he read every book in the Dunbar Library.
That's
Though, do you? I think he could have done it even though there were far more books in the present one than in the old one. Now, the interactive CD that you mentioned, is that available yet, or is that something that's going to be coming out soon?
Yes, it'll be coming out soon.
And how do you go about getting a copy of it? If
well,
you want
we're
one?
working on the logistics of how we're going to distribute that, and as soon as we do, we'll be making a public announcement about that.
Okay. And obviously people would be able to find out about that on our website.
Exactly.
So, and now you mentioned posters and brochures, and I believe there is a brochure that has a nice little, very short description of Mr. Ellison's life, and that I'm assuming is available at all the libraries.
It's available at all of our libraries.
And of course we can, again, I'm always mentioning the website. You can always go to the website and find out information about that as well.
And we have one other activity coming up. It's really one of the last that the library is sponsoring directly, and that is a play. It's an original play, and the title of it is Indivisible Man. It's about the life of Ralph Ellison, and it will be on October 25th at UCO, Constitution Hall, Student Center, second floor. And for more information, you can call our public information office or check our website.
Okay. Now, so it's open to the public?
Yes.
Free, yes.
Free?
Yes,
Oh,
free.
well, okay. Well, is it the UCO students who are putting it on?
No, it's the Metropolitan Library System, and Morris McCarvey, who is a native of Oklahoma City, met Mr. Ellison when he was a young man, and he's just felt like there's been a parallel in their lives. They were both born in Oklahoma City, both are writers, so he's written an original play, and that will be presented.
So this is the premiere of the play?
Premiere, yes.
Oh,
yes.
how wonderful.
And because of the things that we've done this year, we think that we have been instrumental in helping Mr. Ellison to be inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. This is, I mean, he's been nominated for a number of years, and so this year we feel that with the celebration that we've done, putting his name out there, making sure that Oklahomans know who he is, that this has happened, and that will take place on November 21st.
Well, knowing that he was born and spent his early youth here in Oklahoma, I think a lot of people might know Ralph Ellison, but they think of him as being a New Yorker.
Right, exactly,
and forget that he's
an
really,
Oklahoman, yes.
He learned to read here in Oklahoma.
He did, and I think we've been instrumental in reminding people that he's a native Oklahoman and what he brought to the state, and it's been a fantastic celebration.
Well, it's really great when you can get kids involved, when you can premiere a play and have a literary landmark and so on. So I guess let's remind people again, if they want to find out more about the brochures, the CD, the play, then they need to go to our website. Or they can stop by any of our libraries and find out more, or I would encourage them to visit the Ralph Ellison Library and see the landmark and the sculpture, which struck me right from the first as a really exciting piece of work.
It is.
So
really nice.
Well, I want to thank you both very much for being with me. And we've had with us today Donna Morris, who is the Acting Executive Director of the Metropolitan Library System, and Daniel Vetta Davis, Director of Branch Services, also for the Library System. They've been telling us about the Ralph Ellison celebration. Coming up next, we have Susie Beasley. She'll be talking with Ruby Soutier about a book that I think we'll all enjoy.
Ruby, tell us about this book by Barry Eisler called Rainfall. This is a book that would probably be categorized as a thriller, but it's different from most thrillers because the main character of this book is an assassin.
Right.
What he does is he kills people. That's how he makes a living, is he kills people and he gets paid for doing it. He has a specialty, though. Whenever he kills people, he makes it look like an accident.
Right.
And he is the son of a Japanese father and an American mother. He lived in America and served in the Vietnam War, where he was trained in the Special Forces, which probably helps him with his new career choice. And now he lives in Japan, and he works for various individuals. But the book opens when he is on the subway or the train or whatever it is in Tokyo, and he kills a man on the subway by using his little Palm Pilot with a program he downloaded about pacemakers.
Oh my goodness, so this is going to give people ideas.
And so he kills this man. And as he is exiting the train, he happens to turn back and he sees a foreigner rifling through this man's pockets, which is sort of a different thing to have happen on one of his
little occupational.
Yes, and so he wants to make sure that this is not something that is going to create a problem for him.
Right, a potential witness.
He starts investigating the man that he killed to find out, you know, who wanted him dead and so on and so forth. And he discovers that this man has a daughter, and she is a pianist, and she plays in some of the local clubs. And so he goes to one of the local clubs to listen to her play and to find out what sort of involvement there might be. And when he goes to listen to her, he sees the foreigner again at the club. And so
that sets the pace. So what did you like best about the book? What was the main thing that you really liked?
The thing that I like the best about this book is the way that there is no extra language. It's very spare, it's very taut, and the author builds one layer of intrigue upon another layer of intrigue, and it's a fabulous read. And most exciting of all, he's supposedly working on a second novel featuring this same character.
So Rainfall is a fairly new book by Barry Eisler, and it's available at your local library, and the writer is working on another one, so we'll look forward to seeing The Assassin in novel number 2. Ruby, thank you for coming and sharing this with us. This book is available at your local library and perhaps your local bookstore, and we'll see you next time. Thank you again, Ruby.
We are more than 300 strong. We are diverse from all walks of life. We are musicians. We are teachers. We are computer experts and business leaders, each with the same goal, to meet the information needs of the people of Oklahoma County. We are the librarians of the Metropolitan Library System. How can we help you?
One of the more entertaining mystery series that I have read is the one written by Lindsay Davis. She is a British author, and her private investigator is a young Roman by the name of Marcus Didius Falco. Now, Marcus Didius tries very, very hard to be optimistic, but I think he was a born pessimist. He works for the Emperor Vespasian when he can't get out of it. He is an up-and-comer. We have watched him come from being dirt poor and just out of the army to now actually a member of the equestrian class. He's married, he has 2 children, he has 2 brothers-in-law and innumerable brothers and sisters and parents who interfere in his life a great deal more than he really wants. Davis is very good at combining comedy with all sorts of murder and mayhem, and this time I think she's outdone herself. Poor Marcus Didius starts out by finding a body has been buried beneath the floor of his brand new bathhouse. He then is immediately sent for by Vespasian, who wants him to go to that dank, dark, and dreary Britain to find out why the new palace being built for a client king is costing so much. Marcus Didius sets out on this very delicate investigation encumbered by his wife, both of his children, his dog, his 2 brothers-in-law, and his sister, who is running away from another one of Vespasian's spies. They get into all kinds of trouble long before they get to the palace that is being overbuilt, or at least being overpaid for. But she manages to tie everything up very tidily. In the meantime, you've learned a great deal about the Roman world in a very enjoyable way. You have learned how the bureaucracy of the empire worked and how buildings were put together. I think if you enjoy mysteries or comedies, you will really like A Body in the Bathhouse by Lindsay Davis. Coming up next, we have Kids Corner. Kelly Rhea talked with Heidi Johnson about some books for our very young readers.
We have a really good book for littles. It's called My World of Color. It's by Margaret Wise Brown. She's written a lot of fabulous books for kids. And Heidi,
Hi.
you wanted to recommend this book.
Yes, it is just beautifully illustrated. It talks about colors, gives little poems about the different colors, tells you what color certain things are, and puts it all in a little poem, a little rhyme. And pictures are just wonderful, very vivid colors, beautiful illustrations all the way through, funny little animals that everybody likes, and there's a little painter mouse in there with his apprentice that makes his way throughout the story. So that one is just one. Anybody wanting to learn a little bit more about colors or beginning colors, that is really a nice book to use.
This would be good for little children that sit in your lap, and a lot of discussion, you know, find the mouse,
Right.
what are they doing now?
Yes, and the pictures are just very full of details. There are a lot of little animals to find, and a lot of, you can make up your own story as you go along with it.
So children up to at least about second grade would enjoy this, because up to that age they can start to read the words themselves.
That's right.
This is a wonderful story.
I thought so too, and it's certainly very attractive visually. That's another big plus point with the small ones especially. So
Helps them focus in and enjoy a good, colorful story.
exactly.
That's great. Now you've brought a second book for us called Busy Night by Ross Collins.
And that one is just a little bit a different bedtime story than you would normally listen to or read. A little boy goes to bed and he falls asleep, and that's when the trouble starts.
Uh-oh.
The Sandman comes.
I see the Sandman on the cover.
Right, the Sandman comes to sprinkle his sleeping dust, magical sleeping dust. Well, the Tooth Fairy also happens to show up, and it's a great picture in there with her with her molar scepter, and she's getting very impatient with Sandy Pants, as she calls him, because she has a lot of molars to collect that night, and he better get a move on. Well, as they're in the discussion about keeping schedules, the ghosts appear out of the wall, and they're also here to haunt whoever is sleeping in that room. Not to be outdone, here comes a big crash through the chimney, and Santa Claus shows up.
Oh, wait, don't tell me anymore. Oh, this sounds so exciting. It's called Busy Night. It's by Ross Collins. You can find it at your local bookstore or at your favorite library.
Thanks, Kelly and Heidi. It's time now for the New York Times bestseller list. We'll start out with hardback fiction. Number 10 is The Crimson Petal and the White by Michael Faber. Dune, the Butlerian Jihad by Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson. Dark Horse by Tammy Hogue. Lullaby by Chuck Palahniuk. Shrink Wrap by Robert Parker. Killjoy by Julie Garwood. Red Rabbit by Tom Clancy. Blessings by Anna Quinlan. Number 2 is The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. And number 1 is Nicholas Sparks' Nights in Rodanthe. On the nonfiction list, number 10 is Crossroads of Freedom, Antietam by James McPherson. The Cell by John Miller and Michael Stone with Chris Mitchell. Among the Heroes by Jerry Longman. A Mind at a Time by Mel Levine. Ann Coulter's Slander. Above Hallowed Ground by photographers of the New York City Police Department. What We Saw by CBS News. Let Freedom Ring by Sean Hannity. Longitudes and Attitudes by Thomas Friedman is number 2, and number 1 is Let's Roll by Lisa Beamer with Ken Abraham. On the children's list, number 10 is Lemony Snicket, the unauthorized autobiography. Artemis Fowl, The Arctic Incident by Ian Colfer. The Wide Window by Lemony Snicket. The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funk. The Reptile Room by Lemony Snicket. Junie B., First Grader, Boss at Lunch by Barbara Park. All-American Girl by Meg Cabot, The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket. Number 2 is Hoot by Carl Hiaasen, and number 1 is Summerland by Michael Chabon. Coming up next, we have Doug Benton of the Metropolitan Library System and the Oklahoma Gazette. He'll be talking with the film curator of the Oklahoma City Museum of Art, Brian Hearn, about a film and a book.
Thanks. I'm here this week with Brian Hearn, who's film curator at the Oklahoma City Museum of Art. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Your first time on Read
It
About
is indeed.
Well, good. Good. I rub my hands in anticipation here. You wanted to talk to us a little bit about something that is not a favorite subject of ours, which is burning books and censorship. You are opposed to that, I'm assuming.
I am.
All right. Well, but how does this subject tie in with you in the Museum of Art?
Well, we're going to be screening the film Fahrenheit 451, which of course is based on the science fiction novel by Ray Bradbury. And in 1966, it was made into a feature film by the French director Francois Truffaut.
Oh, so we're talking about a foreign film here then, right?
Well, yes, it is foreign, but it is in English. It's his only film that he made in English, and it was made in Great Britain, actually, and stars a German actor named Oskar Werner, who plays the lead character of Guy Montag, the book burner, and Julie Christie actually plays a dual role as his bored housewife and the rebel book lover, Clarice, who he falls in love with.
Okay, and our viewers may remember Julie Christie from Dr. Zhivago.
Absolutely.
And Werner had been in an earlier Truffaut film, Any Jules and Jim? Isn't he one of the characters?
Correct.
Jules and Jim?
And Truffaut was a big fan of American culture. He loved American stories and themes, and that helps explain why he made Fahrenheit 451, which was written 15 years before the film was made.
Mm-hmm. And Truffaut was himself a writer. He had published
definitely
several books, I think, and
he was a wonderful critic. Mm-hmm. He was a true lover of all film, not just French film, and he made a lot of good ones too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is the significance of the title Fahrenheit 451?
Well, it happens to be the temperature at which paper burns, which is very significant in this story because it's set in the future in which books are banned. They're illegal, if you can imagine such a thing, and people are not allowed to read, and so the firemen, their task is to go around seeking out these illegal texts and burning them. And this gets our protagonist into a little bit of trouble because he begins reading the books and experiences what happens when you read a book that makes you think for yourself.
Is that what the rulers of this future society are afraid of? That people will start thinking for themselves?
Definitely. And one of the fascinating parts of this story is that we see later that there is a culture of exiled people who want to continue reading books, and what they do is commit individual books to memory, and it becomes their identity. I mean, if you were going to be a book, what would you be, Doug?
Oh, goodness. I would probably be something by Dickens, although I'd hate to have to memorize it all.
Well, it's funny you mention that because David Copperfield is one of the books that's prominent in the story because the main character, he reads David Copperfield.
Okay, so you'll be screening Fahrenheit 451 on October 3rd.
Correct.
At 7:30 at the Museum of Art Theater. Thank you. I've been with Brian Hearn today. Thank you, Brian, for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank all of you for listening, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Brian and Doug. Coming up next, we have M.J. Van Venner, Director of Publications for the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. She is going to be with us for some time to come on Read About It, and today she'll be talking with First Lady of Oklahoma, Kathy Keating, about one of Mrs. Keating's favorite books.
If you spend 15 minutes a day reading to a child, you're doing more than reading. You're building a bond that lasts a lifetime. Hi, I'm Penny McCaleb, Chairman of your Metropolitan Library Commission, and I urge you to read to your children. Not only will they learn to love reading, they will also become better students. Our children's librarians will be happy to help you select just the right book. The next time your child hands you a book, take the time to read. You'll both be glad you did.
Kathy, it's so nice to have you here this morning. And we have many books to talk about because I think you're an avid reader. And,
I am an avid reader, as you are.
And you've had great success with publishing, and so has Frank. He has a new book out about Will Rogers for children.
He does.
And, so you're developing quite a little literary history here.
Well, it's fun to read, and it's fun to write. You're a prolific writer and a really gifted writer. The truth of the matter is I actually am more a publisher than I am a writer, and I have pulled the genius of several people in to help me in my writing efforts. And I've just always found history to be fascinating, and I love to read, and I love to record parts of history that have otherwise been left undone. And that was what brought me to write or to publish the book on the governor's mansions, and it was actually what brought Frank to publish and write the book on Will Rogers, is because there was not a children's book which really told the life of Oklahoma's greatest hero, and there wasn't a book telling all the history and the fun of the governor's mansions of America. So on two different fronts and for two different reasons, we wrote two different books and loved every minute of it.
You've given us a wonderful book about the governor's mansions. Tell me a little bit about how you really put that together.
Well, after we moved into the governor's mansion, which is an interesting experience to begin with because you're moving into a house which doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the people of your state. It's true in every state in America. It's true at the White House as well. You inherit a home and you're responsible for that home, and when that home needs to be furnished or renovated or restored, it becomes your responsibility. And I went to the library looking for a book, really a how-to book for this old house. And Bob Vila's book just didn't work for this particular house. And I was looking for a book on the governor's mansions of America and could not find what I was looking for. A book had been published in the 60s by former Governor and First Lady Price of Texas, but it was really more a documentary, one page of the Capitol with half the page filled with a picture and maybe one or two paragraphs about the Capitol, and the same with the governor's mansion, if indeed there was one. And so I figured after we had restored our house, and our house was better than everybody else's house, I was going to put together a book on all the governor's mansions of America, telling the history and showing the architecture and the design of each of these houses. And went to several publishers. They immediately said yes because they thought there would be great interest in this. Asked Charles Kuralt to write the foreword, which he did, and it was his last written piece before he passed away.
Well, it's a wonderful book, and the mansion is wonderful. I've been in there, and you've made it so warm and so wonderful. And very briefly, you're also reading Dearest Friends, The Love Story of Abigail Adams, and you're also doing Ooh La La, a cookbook about the food that you've served at the mansion.
You see, these are gourmet recipes, for some a little more gourmet than others, but I should say gourmet food that has been served at the mansion. So many people have asked us for the recipes over the last 8 years, and so it is in conjunction with Ralph Knighton, who's been the mansion administrator for the past 7.5 years, and I have put together this book called Ooh La La. It will be out in late October. All proceeds go to the Friends of the Mansion, which is a nonprofit keeping the preservation of our governor's mansion alive. Same with the book, Our Governor's Mansion.
Well, we have that to look forward to, and I want to thank you so much for being here today.
MJ, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Kathy and MJ. Remember that you can check out everything about the library system on our website at www.metrolibrary.org. It lists all of the libraries, their locations, their times of operation. All of the programs that are offered for children, adults, and young adults are available on the website. You can also access our catalog and find out about all the books, magazines, video cassettes, and CDs that are available. You can place them on reserve and have them available to pick up at your favorite library. Remember to drop by and check out a book, find out more about the Ralph Ellison celebrations. We still have the play coming up in October, and there will be an interactive CD. Information about that will be available at libraries and the website. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City.